Hey, Gab, welcome, welcome. Haven't seen you in a long time. I hope all is well with you. All right. Thank you for coming through. Thank you. Oh, yes. Living in the light. Hey. Living in the light. Yes, I agree. Everybody should be given a chance to perceive the truth. And a lot of everybody has been given a chance to perceive the truth. I think everybody's been given a fair amount chance to perceive the truth. But what it is there's some difficulties because when we think about the Moors, what I want to talk about is when we think about, okay, what Whoopi Goldberg said, before we get into that, we got to go through a little history, housekeeping, okay, cleaning up in the history part of things, and get some clear understanding of this thing called the Bible. Um, it's coded, and when it comes to Genesis, the beginning, we know that there were people already here, and then there was a group of people. We also know there was a man who was known as a snake. We also know that when Ireland was there were there were people that Negroid people that lived in Ireland before Ireland was taken over, before Ireland was taken over by what we call the white race or the Caucasian race today. We know that they called those people the snake people. They coded calling them the snake people. They ran them out of Ireland, out of their land. We know that we know these things. We know that the earth, and a lot of lands were occupied by Negroid race, but they were taken over. And now today, a majority of those countries are ruled by what we call the Caucasian or the white race. We know these things to be evident and to be facts. No one will argue those facts with you. But that was called survival for the people that had to go and take over these lands because that's what they do, that's their nature. Now, that would not be denied either, because one thing that is glorified is conquering, warring, and taking over another people. That is very glorified, and it's glorified in the Bible as well. But when we look at the Genesis and we think we want to think something is a devil, could this be where we went wrong as a people? When it talks about the garden and the Adam and the Eve were only supposed to eat of the fruit of the trees that they were told to, but there was one tree they weren't supposed to eat of, and it would give them light. Hold on a second. So when we look at that part of the Bible, we got to know that it was a man considered snake, a descendant of Anunnaki, because this is what we are, right? So basically, the same thing we did in England, and we went when we went in there during the black disease that was going on, plague that was going on, and they went in there to straighten all of that out, to give the people something. They gave them knowledge. Isn't that symbolic of Adam and Eve in the garden? Being limited to being, you know, I talk about this a lot on my channel. I talk about how wrong it is for them to take the dog and domesticate it. It was wrong it's wrong to give a dog knowledge that it's not supposed to have. To me, it is, because he already has his knowledge. So you wanting to take that animal and make it into our likeness, when that animal isn't supposed to be in our likeness. He's supposed to be in his own form, in his own mind, in its own ways. So what is the punishment in the earth with domesticating dogs? The punishment is you have to put them down. You have to contain somehow. So for every action, there's a reaction. We can't get around it. Yeah, man is God, so we do what we want. Yes, exactly. Authentic perspectives. I'm gonna have to subscribe to your channel. I remember you. I think you used to be Gab. Yeah. So you changed your name. So I'm gonna have to look you up and subscribe. Yeah. So you're so right about that. But when we live in a perimeter, we have rules. We cannot do what we want, not without consequence. There's always going to be a consequence for trying to do what you want. Now, it's weird how some knowledge is is they will accept, but some knowledge, what you will find that people will fight you tooth and nail against. For example, you give them a knowledge of truth, which is what Whoopi Goldberg did. She gave them the knowledge of truth. It's a fact. But it's hard for them to take that. It's hard for them to take that and see themselves for what it is. But it's easy for them to fight against it and say that's no truth in that. Um, that somehow in their reality, what they did was right. What they do is right. That's living in that light that you think the light is supposed to be all good. You think the dark is supposed to be all bad, but they're polarities. So there's no, you might as well take good and bad out of the equations because that it doesn't exist in that. When something, it's like a mathematic equation. It has to come out correctly, right? So when it comes to these polarities, when it comes to laws, the rules of nature, laws of nature, it's just a mathematic equation. Yes, if it's you said it best. If it's against, because it's a mathematical equation. It's a mathematical equation. It's that push pull, give take. Negative, positive, but the negative is not all bad. The positive is not all good. They both have, you know, a combination. You can't divide it and say that it's you can't just divide it and say one thing is all bad, one thing's all good. You just that's not our biology makeup. And we are microcosm we're a microcosm cosms of the whole. We are tiny fractures, pieces of the whole. So when you look at it, you know, some people may think, oh, I'm going to come to the light. Yeah, micro of the micro. Correct. I'm going to come to the light, but you thinking that light is supposed to be all good. There's, yes, that energy in the light is good feeling energy, but it's you're going to be faced with challenge. But when you try to say the light is better than the dark, you don't even know. You never even been to the dark. You just going on hearsay. No one's ever been to the dark side of anything. We just perceive from our perception that somehow there's horrid things happening in the dark when we see hard things happening in the light every day. Our culture was never a culture of survival. We had everything, you know. God, if there is a God that people want to talk about, that God gave you everything. What makes it hard is this man, the man, the man and his system has come along and said, you have to depend on me for your survival. Point blank. You have to depend on me for your survival. You are not like me. You are less than me. He said he was God and he made you dependent on him. You work for nothing, you get nothing. He gets everything. It's still the same way. Even when it looks like you're getting a fat check, he still gets a big chunk of that. They call that Uncle Sam. Now he's got a name, Uncle Sam. But yet he wants to give you laws and tell you what's right and wrong, and he has never wrote his wrong. But yet he tells you what's right and wrong. He's still righting wrongs, doing well, he's still doing wrongs when it comes to your pay, your taxes. Because remember, he said you were less than him, but he's still getting money and he's using it against you. But yet, somehow, he's supposed to be getting some help from some supernatural people so that he can survive longer on the planet. Anything he put in front of your face has been detrimental to your soul. He has prevented you from learning the knowledge of the soul and giving you something that our ancestors had long ago, and he has rewrote it in a way to be symbolic of something called white supremacy, control, white supremacy, control. Yeah, he's a liar and a thief from the beginning. So now he wants to tell a woman who is oblivious, who is not mean spirit, she upraises the race of whiteness. If anything, she has honored the race of whiteness. Her daughter is half white. She has loved these people. She has honored these people and she works for them, and she has done nothing but goodness for them. But the moment she innocently tells the truth without knowing, the people that she was honoring all this time were the people of the wicked blood, hey Chris, and the wicked intent. And who do not want any knowledge but the knowledge they will accept. That think they got the power to counsel someone when no one cares about being canceled, really. If you cancel the whole, you can cancel the whole planet, it ain't gonna make a difference. You're still a minority, and who cares? cancel because I don't like something, or I don't like something that was said because I can't accept truth. Nobody else is hollering cancel. No one else is hollering about canceling anything because we know that who cares? Who really cares? So what? Cancel me. I go to my little cubby hole somewhere and be happy. Good riddance. That's how I feel about it. But, anyways, because white people don't make me or break me. Whiteness does not make me and break me. And if anybody at the sound of my voice understand what I'm saying by that, they're not offended. They totally understand and they will agree. No one should make you or break you. That is just a part of life. No one should have that much control over anybody where they get canceled and not be able to be successful or do the things they want to do in life. Who are you? That's what I hope the new word of the new year is. Who are you? Because this woman has earned her right to say what she wants to say and to express her truth. Express her truth when everything has been against her skin tone in this life. And she's had to work very hard to break through barriers of stereotypes, to be accepted. Hold on a second. So, with that said, Whoopi Goldberg has told these people that the Holocaust. Thank you, Chris. Great seeing you, Chris. So basically, she has told these people the truth that being a Jew is not a race, it's a religion. I don't think she said religion, but she said it wasn't about race. But if she had mentioned about religion, she would have, her point would have been quite clear, and they really couldn't say anything. But they need some understanding. They need the Holocaust lessons. They need to be taught a whole different perspective of seeing the world and seeing things. For every action, there's a reaction. When you do one thing in the earth, and they've learned this, they know this, it's going to show somewhere else and express itself as a counteraction towards the action unfavorable that has been done. But they want to turn it into a low level surface viewpoint and lump it all in to keep my people, Negroid people, sympathetic and on the side of on their side and agreeing that racism is the thing all around the board when it was only against us because we are a different race. We're different. People can deny that all day long, all they want, but the fact is we're different. And you can't really say that everybody's everybody because everybody isn't everybody. We, like Karen Willer was just singing, people of a different culture have to survive living in the light, living in knowledge, knowledge given from the snake people to a people who did not have this knowledge, a people that were not tamed. Just like the wolf turned to a domestic dog, the same thing has to survive, living in knowledge of human knowledge, that he needs dog food that his master gets from the store, created by a corporation. If he doesn't get that, he does not survive. He be out here on the street getting picked up by the dog catchers. Then he'll get euthanized or put to sleep, or he's going to have to be rescued. Whoopi Goldberg wasn't wrong. That can't be denied. She told the truth. It wasn't about race. It's never about race when it comes to white on white. It's man's inhumanity against his own inhumanity. And when he faces that, then he can see that he's no different than the wolf, preying upon innocence. That's animal like. That's what the ancients of ancients were talking about. Either you want to choose to be animal or you want to choose to be upright. You want to choose to have somebody that you're feeding off of below you, or you want to choose to be upright. Because feeding off of people is not upright. But taking care of self is more upright. But taking from a people and still having the same old slavery going on in society that's going on, there is nothing civilized about that. That is like a ferocious wolf eating off of the innocents. That's his nature. I don't fault the wolf for that. But for you to call yourself man is to be upright. That's different. That's different. And you want to say someone else is less of a human, but yet hasn't showed you that, because you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be existing in this planet if there was anything else other than human on this earth. And that is a guarantee. But as it is, your own nature will not let you survive, because it's just the natural order of nature to ensure that that which is destructive will eventually destroy itself. Like it says, live by the sword, die by the sword. And it's a sword. And that sword that is utilized You said they know, they don't seem to want the world to know. Yeah. But it's evident. It's too evident to see that if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And you can't ask for help for something you've refused to learn. You know, you got all kinds of trick bags out here, all kinds of booby traps, all kinds of schemes, all kinds of conspiracies. You know, a conspiracy isn't our intuition telling us the truth. It's the person who has planned a plotted dirty deeds that is the conspiracy. My intuition is sensing the wickedness that is coming our way. So it's not a conspiracy to talk about a group of people who conspire. That is an excuse to downplay the intuition of those who know and can sense the wickedness coming their way. Whoopi Goldberg is honorary and standing up and saying what she said. But unfortunately, too many of our own people are tricked into believing, being lied to about whatever they want to, the narratives they want to pull out of their hats and tell you. She didn't defend anybody by saying what she said because the truth is they really know why the Holocaust was. It was all about money. It's all about land. It's all about greed. It's about whiteness. As usual, the same old, same old. Nothing religious about it. I showed you how good they were living in Germany, and we've seen documentaries of them living good, and Frank and them living good. Doctors, lawyers, scientists, all this, all that, businessmen, everything. I would say it's more political than anything. The same as pouncing upon Whoopi Goldberg is political. They fear entertainers or anybody else saying anything and influencing the minds of the people. They fear that, like they fear Trump. So, kudos to Whoopi for saying what she said. No illness was meant towards her friends at all. She was just saying the truth from her perspective of life. As a woman who has to work twice as hard as her counterparts because of her color, a woman from a group of people who have been horridly mistreated in America, in the United States. and around the world because of her skin tone. And that has not been in retribution, has not been given for any of that. But yet, my tax dollars somehow is given, is taken, my money is taken from me. And that, you know, that is the most wrong thing to ever do to a group of people who you have deemed to be less than human. The fact that we have to fight for equality, the fact that we have to deal with everything in life that we've had to deal with, we've had compounded upon us. But they have taken from us and still take. Now they want to cancel people. Who cares about your counsel? While you at it, counsel yourself. And counsel yourself from trying to appropriate our cultures anymore. Because it is ludicrous. It is ludicrous. Nothing is fair. And intentionally, you make it unfair. You don't have the right to punish anyone of my race. And you don't have the right to tell us what's right and wrong in our race. When you have wronged and never wrote off your wrong. And you still continue to wrong. So everything Whoopi Goldberg says is right. That she wants to say about the Holocaust, or any other entertainer or famous person that is Negroid race wants to say about the Holocaust, they can say whatever they please to say about it. Because our money, we are cheated. We are cheated constantly on a constant basis, but our people have been pulled into this kumbaya togetherness, and we get the smaller stick every time. Every time. The smaller stick. And they know it. And it's time. It is time that our people show it. That we're sick of getting the smaller stick, and that you do not have the right to tell us right from wrong when you don't even know your own wrong, and only tell us right so it can be the white way. So, who cares about your counseling culture? Cancel on. Cancel on. It's your world. Your world of your own. Call it Cancel USA. If that's what you want. Because you get what you want, what you ask for. And words are spells. And just keep on screaming, cancel, cancel, cancel. And you'll see sooner or later, it'll be your reality. Because the truth in the universe is the truth. And the universe has no problems with the truth. You got to know that things work through people. If you didn't know Hitler, you better know Hitler. You better study his perspective on things and how he knew he was in the light. He was in the right. He was in his own white way. No different. No different. So thank you guys for being here. And it seems like no one has smoke over this way for me. So that's okay. Maybe I needed to be on Bigo. I get more smoke on Bigo than I do on YouTube. So with that said, always remember true love, real peace, and the higher self within yourself, the soul, and let your soul show and let it go to work and never hold back anything. I don't hold back anything because there's nothing, like they said, there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to gain, nothing to lose in this place. So, with that said, peace and stand up, be strong, and don't back down. Peace.